I shared with you the story of Bathsheba, that fine girl that just got married. You know her? That girl that was living close to David's quarters, King's Avenue, number 2. David was in number 1. So he stood from number 1. You know, it is very easy to see those in number 2. And he saw something that when you see that kind, you should leave and speak in tongues to detoxify your mind. But David decided to have a very pleasant view. And he said, go and call her. David, the sweet psalmist of Israel. The one that God said, I found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. He said the enemy will not even inflict him. I'll beat down his foes before him. But Bathsheba, God won't beat her down before him. You flee from this kind. And when she came, she looked at him. Ah! King David is calling me. Who am I? You know, Bathsheba was the grandchild of David's best friend, Ahithophel. Ahithophel was David's, he was the best advisor in Israel. You know, when they told Absalom, when they told David that Ahithophel has now joined, David never panicked until he heard that Ahithophel has now joined him. So Ahithophel was, of course, older than David. You know, sometimes you have older friends. But the friend of your father is your father. The friend of your grandpa is not your uncle. It's grandpa. Now, not to talk of the king. So when Bathsheba heard and saw God, he didn't know what was happening. I will tell you what was happening. She was tying towel to her chest and was sitting before the mirror. She was about applying the cream when the guards came. What happened? The king has called you. Me? Let me quickly dress up. He picked everything. Did the hair. New bride. Somebody just paid a bride price less than 3 months ago, before the battle started. So, me, King David, it's a very huge honor. So she dressed and went there and knelt down. Oh, king, your handmaiden is pleased to be before you. I dare not lift up my head to see you. I'm so honored, sir. Only for the king to say, God, you can go. Say, my Lord, I'm so honored. Your Lord has fallen. Before we knew what was happening, David had called one of his boys. You know that guy? I'm still going to talk about him. Joab. The ones that if you want to partner with sin, the loyalty will even cover. They will partner with you in sin. Say, nobody should see me. Tell them I'm busy. Kabesi, you are busy. The only time you tell us this is when you are with your violin. But now you are not carrying the violin. What we have here is a woman. Okay. They were expecting king to come out 4 p.m. He's busy. No sweet melodies is coming out from the inner chambers. The cloud of glory that used to descend when he's doing that, no cloud. Say, we believe that he must be. Would they have called her as a backup singer? Maybe. 8 o'clock. But we are not hearing sound of violin. 1 a.m. Then they saw somebody put some things over her head and sneaked out. The king never discussed it with anybody. Nobody discussed the matter with them again. Do you think the king would have had the confidence to kill the husband, if not that the girl too enjoyed the pleasures of the palace? Enjoyed it. And David must have said, we need to have this kind of time again. Say, hey. You know those kind of smiles that is not saying no and not saying yes. Nobody saw her again. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, maybe about a month and a half. Because if you remember this story, she said your handmaiden has just paid her vows. You know what that means? She has just done her purification period. Just finished that menstrual flow. So she must have waited for the next cycle. This thing didn't come. The normal abdominal pain didn't come. Waited a while again, depending on the numbers. This thing didn't come. This time around, she knew something had happened, and she walked to the palace. No invitation, nothing. David must have been seated in his majesty, speaking with the mighty men, those who had been with him from the days of the cave, those who look up to him, those who call him our captain. He sat down with them, and suddenly somebody broke the protocol. But this time around, not Esther, a girl, not married to the king, opened the door and said, David, I need to talk to you. They removed the spear. We'll fall on her now. But sin said no. About 2 months ago, the same girl was here, face flat. Feel so honored to be here. What a privilege. But this time around, David, I need to talk to you. Say, hey, don't touch her. And they must have been murmuring amongst the ranks. Who is this idiot? Let's kill her at once. I say, get away. Everybody leave us. Now began to open up. Pregnant. Pray what? Pregnant. Punke! What would he have shouted? How should it be? How should we hear it? And when they return back from battle, it will be observed that a woman who had just married to her husband, who should be with her for a full year, but left for war front out of zeal and passion for God. The wife is now pregnant. You know, according to the custom, such a woman should be stoned to death. But now, this is the icing on the cake. The one responsible for it is King David. The king himself, the head of the whole army of the land. David must have thought of options. What should we do? He must have thought of killing her. Because when men want to cover their sins, they are desperate. He must have thought that the people that can do that kind of clean job have gone to battle. If I say I should do it like this, the secret will be out. You know that he didn't stop sleeping with her until Nathan came. Because after saying I'm pregnant, a measure of regret, but no accountability, they had to continue. What should we do? While we are thinking of what to do, stay in the palace. Don't worry. You know what would have happened? all the daily meetings where David would have been playing his harps and people would have been worshiping would have to stop. The sweet psalmist of Israel is no longer sweet. Think about it now. All the days of sitting on the harp. Have you seen where they play harps before? The beautiful melodies that proceed from it. Because David invented many musical instruments. He was a king and also a musician. The best. In fact, he has been the best before he became a king. You know, when Saul was afflicted and they went to look for somebody who knows how to play well, it was only the son of Jesse that was qualified for it. David must have remembered that, my brothers at home said it then that they know I was not going to go far. They said it then that I'm a stubborn boy. They said it then. Now all these things have finally caught up with me. Try to desperately cover the mess. Maybe one day, maybe Bathsheba must have looked at him. You know, David was a very handsome man. Very, very handsome black man. I'll show you from scripture. It was not a yellow, it was a brownish looking fantastic guy. Let me break it down. You know, when he saw Bathsheba on that mountain top, the Bible says she was fair to look upon. You remember what Solomon said in Songs of Solomon? He said, daughters of Jerusalem, don't look at me because I'm dark, because the sun has risen upon me. Do your mathematics. Dark, tall looking, fantastic, handsome young man. And maybe Bathsheba must have looked at him and said to him, it's you I liked. Because you were married. That's why I went to marry that guy. I waited. I was part of those who wished. He said, who knows? Maybe something can still be done. Maybe he must have said, yes. You mean it? So, it's me you really liked. Not that guy. It's not too late. You can still have me. Say, I can't marry two husbands. Say, it doesn't have to be two. Let's make it one. How? Let's kill him. Must have done some mock mourning for some days and started living with it. David called him. Okay, before they even killed him, you know, they had other attempts too. I said, let's call him. When soldiers go to war, they always return with trauma. If you see many people dead, you will need to ease his stress. I'm still his new wife. I will wear my best nightgown. And I know his best food. He likes meat. After every battle, if you give him meat, he's happy. He said, give him meat. David said, meat. We will kill 100 rams. And we'll pick parts from 100 different rams for him to eat as he wants. So let her go to Uriah and say, the king has summoned for you. Me, King David. Let's go. Got to the house. He saw a big banquet. David sat down. Said, eat. I just want us to gist. And he got him wine. He made sure it was the same color, but the alcohol content in his own higher, so he can get drunk on time. So he was taking his own and he was watching Uriah. And at some point, when he saw his heads were dropping, he said, why don't you go home? Say, apologies, my king. Sorry. Go home and meet your wife. Relax from the wahala, the battlefront. King, before I go, can I take just 1 minute? Say, it's all yours. So he went. And David climbed up to go and see where he saw her. He could see their window and see if something was already going on. But as he looked, he saw Bathsheba alone seated. Where's this guy? Then he came downstairs and saw him drunk but determined. I won't go into my wife. That's legitimate passion. He denied it. If he goes into his wife, it's not a sin. It's his wife. He said, I can't. David called him again. Had another attempt again. The young man said, I cannot. You know, by this time, they were getting to the season where the pregnancy will be revealed. He said, we have to do something. Finally, they killed him. But David didn't still stop sleeping with her until Nathan came. One of the things I want to pick up from this story is that nobody stops sexual sin alone. Nobody. Nobody. It doesn't matter how anointed you are. Nobody stops sexual sins alone. Yeah. The first time, a mistake. The man of God himself was new to it. But without Nathan, a strong force of accountability, you know, it will have become a culture. David, with a legacy of snatching people's wives and sleeping with them and killing the husbands. If he could do that in the first time, he has the capacity to do more and even wipe out an entire family. You know, he's been doing some that God kept quiet. That girl, that fine girl, Abigail, you know, he took her from Nabal. God didn't talk. So he had track record, and it grew till he moved to somebody's wife. Maybe the next one would have been somebody's grandmother.